Hello and welcome again to another video tutorial brought to you by noxtt.com, enabling organizations through technology. In this video, we're going to create an AWS EC2 instance. This is a follow-up video to a previous one where we created our AWS root account, and we also created an administrator account for the purposes of creating EC2 instances. So we're going to do that. We're going to create the EC2 instance using that admin account we created, not the root, the second account, and we will view how that second account is accessed, or as they would say, best practice. So in this video, we're going to quickly log in as root. I just want to take you through the billing console because the account was set up using the free tier, and we want to be able to always check and double check that we are not outside of our free tier usage. Once our infrastructure exceeds our free tier usage, Amazon will start billing. Then we're going to log in using the admin account we created and create our EC2 instance. And for this example, we're going to create a Ubuntu server. We also have a look at how the ports for that server is controlled, how you can control access. For this example, we're just going to leave it open, but I'll give some hints or a small demonstration of how you limit the role, you limit the access via the ports. We're going to log in to our new EC2 instance using the PEM key provided by Amazon, and we'll see what that is about. And last but not least, we're going to quickly set up Apache 2. Just for demonstration purposes, I'm going to set up an Apache 2 web server and view the default page from the internet. So this will just be an example of how you can use Amazon's free tier for development. You can set up your own web server. You can even go further and install things like Plesk or some other cPanel based application and simulate your own web hosting account. Once you know what to do in Linux and how to set the infrastructure up, you'll be fine. So this was from this note here was from the last video. You can get rid of it. So let's hop right in. Let's perform our first task. We're going to log in as root and peruse billing. So as usual, you can just enter aws.com and log in. You're going to sign into the console. I'm signing in as a root user. And remember, we set up multi-factor authentication on our root user account, so it's going to ask me for that code. There you go, the MFA code. Let me just get it. And we're in. So let's just have a look at billing. So I logged in and you're seeing billing. But let's say you logged in and you're not seeing billing, you can just hit services. And even if from here you're still not seeing billing, you can just type up billing and it's going to take you to the dashboard. So as you can see, it's still $0. Let's look at the billing preferences. When you signed up for your root account, you would have used an email address. If you want to get notifications of when you're about to exceed your free tier usage and you want that email alert sent to you to a different account, this is where you would type in that account. So that is how you constantly check whether you are exceeding your free tier usage. You can just come here to your Cost Explorer. There are different things you can set up here, but we just want to go straight to billing. So there are no invoices. Let's see what budgets have. Okay, I don't have access to that. cost usage and reports. We have nothing due. And so that's about it. The home is going to tell you, if you're about to exceed your usage, etc. So you can explore if you want this entire panel, all these options, to further find out how useful this can be. But what we want to focus on right now is our IAM, because in IAM, I just want to show you the link. So this is the link that your admin users should be using. I guess it's considered best practice. They can still enter aws.com and log in as an IAM user, but AWS prefers you use this link. I didn't change or set a password policy, that's why that's in orange. So let me go to my other browser, type in that URL, and we're going to log in using the newly created admin account for the purposes of creating an AWS EC2 instance. And then from there, we're going to create a Ubuntu server. So in Firefox, we're using the EC2 instance. noxtt.com admin. Don't save. So creating a new EC2 instance is very simple. Again, if you don't see EC2 here, you can just type that in here, or you can go to services and you'll see EC2 under cloud compute. Oh, we're having a little trouble again. Let me just pause the video and sort this out. Okay, I'm back. The little issue I was having is that for the account I created, so the root account created an account called noxtt.com admin, and that account required verification via phone. So I had to give them a phone number. They sent me a text. I entered the text. The account was verified, and now I'm back here. So we are going to hit EC2 according to our schedule. We're going to log in and create a EC2 Ubuntu server. Again, if you don't see this menu here, you can just type up EC2 and it will take you straight to it. You hit services. EC2 is very popular. So we get to the EC2 console and we are using free tier. We want to launch an instance. So we say yes, launch instance. And let's just flip through all these different instances we can launch. We can launch Amazon Linux 2. We can launch Red Hat Enterprise. SUSE, we're going to launch a Ubuntu server. It's going to be 64-bit using the x86 chip and not ARM. So we select. We're going to keep the defaults for the type of processor being used, etc., etc. Number of instances, we only want one server. You can have multiple. This is a free tier, so we're not going to request a spot instance. We're going to keep it to free. No preference for the network, subnet, auto IP. All these defaults we're going to keep. There's no need for an IAM role. Everything here looks pretty much good. Again, we're just going to accept the defaults. General purpose SSD. This is going to be 8 gigs. That's fine. It's one of the beautiful things of using a Linux server. can add a tag here. I'm just going to say Ubuntu server, web server. So that's our tag. Key is Ubuntu server. So this is where they limit you to what protocol can be used. We'll talk about this in a bit, but what it's saying here is that right now, if we keep this as is, you will only be able to SSH using port 22 and IP4 into the server. Let me see, select an existing security group. Default VPC security group. Launch wizard. Add rule. So the rule I think I want to add here is as a custom TCP, the port range. I can't quite remember if we add 0 to include all. Custom side, let me see. Okay. So what I will do is I will choose all TCP. Right. So this is what I've done here. I've chosen, I've added. So we're creating a new security group. The name of this security group is Launch Wizard 1. This is this description. By default, Amazon, when creating a new security group, they're only going to give you SSH access because they want to lock down the entire instance. But for demonstration purposes and so that when we create the web server, we can actually surf to it and view the web page, I'm going to hit all. I guess if I wanted to be very cautious, I would have probably only allowed HTTP access, because by default, a new Amazon EC2 instance does not have a SSL certificate installed. So there will be no need to access HTTPS, which I believe is port 443. We're only going to access HTTP. Okay, so we'll keep it safe. HTTP 8A. So SSH is to actually log in via the terminal, and HTTP is so that persons from on the outside, you can verify the web server installation. So that hits review and launch. Okay, so we're quite happy with this. This is all that we'll accept the defaults from here on in, and I just hit launch. So this is important. They're going to ask you to choose an existing key pair or create a new key pair. This key pair is a file that is going to allow you SSH access into that Amazon EC2 instance. So in order for you to access your new virtual server that you just created, you're going to have some security by which you can securely access it, and that's the purpose here. So we're just gonna, that's the name of it, you're gonna call it web server, download the key pair, you're gonna save this file. It's a PEM file, and whenever you're SSHing into your EC2 instance, you're gonna have to use this. We'll see how that works in a little bit. For now, we're gonna just save the file. The file is saved. This is the key pair that we're using. Let's launch our instance. Okay, so the instance is running. I'm going to just pause the video here because I'm going to move that downloaded key pair to another directory and access it, show you how you're going to access your newly created virtual server from there. Just going to pause quickly. Okay, so we're back and we are in the directory where our web server PEM key is located. Let's view our instance, our running instance. And this is our virtual server, it's up and running. So we want to connect to this instance. And you're given instructions here on what to do. We are going to use the instructions below that show us how to access using our key. So the key must not be publicly viewable via SSH to work, etc., etc. So the first instruction is that we have to chmod this to 400. So let's do that. Let's follow those instructions. Okay, done. Then to connect to your instance using its public DS, this will be the public DNS, but we're going to use the example. They know that the name of our PEM key was web server. This over here is how we connect using, let's say we created a web server. In order to browse to your web server, you're going to need a domain name or an IP. So this is the domain name Amazon free tier web, Amazon free tier service is going to assign you to access your machine. So this is your domain name. It's not www.amazon some number.com. It's this long number, and this is how you access your domain. But for now, we just want to log in. So I'm going to copy and paste this. I'm going to pull up our terminal, paste it in. Are you sure you want to continue connecting? Yes. And that's it, we are in. We have just SSH into our new virtual server, our new Ubuntu server. Ubuntu is the username. We can verify that this is Ubuntu. There are lots of ways to do this. This is just one. You can use uname. You usually use LSB as well. That is the name there. So this is our Ubuntu server. We've just SSH'd into our server. So we've accessed our server. Okay, that's great. So we created our EC2 instance, a Ubuntu server. We show where the default port access can be controlled. We logged in using our SSH and PM key. Now, please remember, you must be in the same folder of the PM key in order for the command to work. This is the root login. You must be in the same folder as the PEM key for this executed command to work. All right, so what were we going to do? Log in, quickly set up Apache 2 instance and view the default page. So if you need root or elevated privileges, you just type sudo. Once you're in the terminal, sudo should give you all the access you need. Amazon does not give you the password for your root account, and setting up such a password is beyond the scope of this video. So we're just gonna run let's search to see. I can't remember how it's spelled, if it's Apache 2 Okay, yeah, it's just Apache 2, the normal web server. So let's get that done. Just hit Y, so we wouldn't have to get past all those questions. Let's just run through. So our Apache server is installing here. We can verify that using our systemd controller and Apache is running. Apache 2 service, active, running. So that's great. So how do we view the front end? How do we, what's the domain name to get to the server? Well, this is the domain name right here. Let's just paste that in. And this is our Ubuntu server. You can always double check that. I believe it is in the root directory, is in var.html, and let's just create a test.html. Well, we don't want to touch. What we'll do is vi. So we'll go straight into it. For insert. See if I remember my basic HTML. Testing new instance. I believe a head tag should be here. Close the head tag. Body. H2. This is our new instance on May the 29th. It's 1625. H2. So the name of this is, I believe it was test. Or we have to close off HTML. Body. Now we can close this, write and quit. Shouldn't have to restart the server, but we can definitely just look to ensure that our file is there. And there is a test.html. So we should be able to pull that up right here. This is our new instance on May 29th at 4:25. So that's it for this video. I hope you found it informative. We were able to log in. First as root, just have a quick look around at our billing console in the area to see if we're not being charged and overusing our free tier usage. Then we logged in with the admin account we created as root, as the root user, we created an admin account. Or before I forget, when we logged in as root, we used our FMA authentication. Then we created our new EC2 instance on Apache Ubuntu web server using the admin account we created as root. We showed where you would control the ports and access to your server. We logged into our new EC2 instance using SSH. We quickly installed Apache and then created another file to ensure that that really was our server. And that's it for this video. I hope you found that informative. I'd like to thank you for viewing.